Well, look who just waltzed right into my podcast. If you're here, it's not an accident. This is the Look Up Podcast. It's a place where we discuss how to stay connected and looking up rather than living in the monotony and anxiety of the brain, looking down. We're going to dive into deep emotional healing, spiritual wisdom and experiences, and above all, how to reconnect and stay connected to God, nature, each other, and ourselves. Welcome to the Look Up Podcast. I'm your host, Harmony Sunshine. All right. Today, we're going to talk about being the villain or the lighthouse. This is a thought that's come to me over the last, I'm not sure when exactly. Where are we? We're in December. That's when I'm recording, and I'm recording it the day after the winter solstice. I want to say like the last few months, last 4 months or so. But yeah, it's been an idea that's been very intense to be okay with and to integrate. But the more that I kind of learn and am open to learning about it and I'm open to receiving, the more that it really feels good inside of my body and it does make sense to me. So this idea of being the villain or the lighthouse. So the villain, it's very obvious, right? It's like somebody that's coming in and hurting the person, the heroine, the hero of the story. This villain, it's like they're dressed in dark clothing and they have that not that end part, but maybe the first. But yeah, the villain, they're coming in and they're messing stuff up and everyone hates them, right? That's the villain. The lighthouse is, think about, the story that's always told about lighthouses is there's like a boat and it's a stormy night and they don't know if they're going to make it, and then they see the light from the lighthouse and they're like, I'm going to be okay. They can, go to the lighthouse, they can find refuge. They can find safety, security, that warmth, like all of these things, support, goodness. It's literally the light side of people, the light, connecting to the light. So I think that's why like this idea was hard to integrate, because it's like, well, I don't want to be the darkness, I want to be the light. It's like, here's the thing that's game changer, the thought, I guess. Even when you are being the light, when you're being connected, when you're doing what you feel you should be doing, it's still going to be received as darkness sometimes from certain people in certain situations, certain things. You're still going to be perceived as the villain. So yeah, let's get into it. So first of all, the lighthouse. So isn't this what we all want to be? Isn't this what we look for in a partner? We look for in friendships, the lighthouse, right? Like, we want people in our lives, and this is exactly what I want too, right? Like, that are loving, supportive, nurturing, that light in the storm. We feel safe with them. We feel secure. It's like all of the good things that a person can be. That's the lighthouse. That's the lighthouse aspect. That's not the word I'm looking for. I can't think of it right now. That's okay. It'll come to me. Archetype. That's like the lighthouse archetype, right? I'm really glad I remembered that word. But yeah, and so like that's honestly what we want. That's what we look for. It's like, and that's what we should, right? You don't want people in your life that are constantly bringing you down. You don't want people in your life that are being villainous all the time. We want the goodness, and we deserve it. We deserve love. We deserve goodness. We deserve people that like make us feel safe. That's important. And we all have that inside of us. No matter like how good or bad you feel right now, in this moment, you are the lighthouse. And you have been the lighthouse to somebody, several somebodies more than likely, hundreds of somebodies, thousands. Like, you don't know. Okay, so I really want us to feel into that. So I'm going to do it too. So put your hand on your heart. Take a deep breath in. If you're able, close your eyes. And out. And think of a time that you were the love, support, safety in someone's life. Okay, the first thing that came to mind for me was my sister, my little sister Dynasty. I'm sure she doesn't mind me sharing this. When she was 13, I was living in California, I think. Or was I living in... I think I was living in California, or at least I was living like 6 hours away from her. I was either in Illinois or California. But I know I wasn't able to be with her on Christmas. And she was going through a really hard time, like very dark stuff. I mean, 13 is honestly, that was the darkest age of my life as well. So I did understand, but I felt like the stuff she was going through was even more intense than what I had gone through. And what I had gone through almost took me out, honestly. That's a whole nother episode. And something that's been a big part of my life is music. And honestly, I'm not like very skilled at playing. Like I play guitar and ukulele, but like I can make it work, you know? And everything that I know, for the most part, I taught myself just from like looking up chords and stuff like that. So I know it was very doable. And it was such a nice way, especially at the time, for me to release and work through my feelings and emotions. And she was dealing with so much. I knew it would be helpful for her as well. I hoped, right? So I bought her a ukulele because ukuleles are just easier to play, easier to start with than guitar for sure. They're smaller, whatever. 4 strings instead of 6. Doesn't matter. But yeah, and so that ukulele, like, seriously changed her life. And she's, like, told me, like, several times, like, I gave her the gift of music. And, like, it was seriously an upswing for her. And in that moment, I was the lighthouse in that moment, right? She started writing and playing, and, like, that was when she was 13. She's 21 today, about to be 22 in a few days. Cutie. She's honestly like one of like the most inspired songwriters I've ever heard, and she's such a beautiful performer. I'm sorry, I love her so much, but it all started from that gift, right? No, it started before that because like God already knew she was gonna have the gift of music and stuff, but like I planted that seed, and like I got to be the lighthouse in that moment. Whew. And I'm glad that the Dynasty memory came up because I've been such an expander to her in my villainous side as well, specifically in the area of music. So let's talk about the villain. Okay, so first of all, before we go on to the villain, I'm not sure if I've said this already, but like, just remember that the most perfect person in the world, I actually recorded this episode and then the sound wasn't on, so I'm re-recording it. So if I repeat myself, it's because I'm not sure what I've said already. But the most perfect person that you can possibly think of, for me, it's like Jesus or like Mother Teresa or something, you know? That person was a villain to somebody. Jesus was a villain to the Pharisees. They hated him. He was like messing everything up for them. Like, my mom is an amazing person. She might have been the villain to me as like a child or like to one of my siblings or something. She's literally like the most kind woman ever. Maybe she's a villain to someone at work that doesn't like positive people, right? Everyone is a villain to somebody. And think about somebody that's a villain in your life. Like, let me try to think of, oh gosh, instantly. Immediately. The person that's like been a villain in my life, specifically the last couple weeks, is honestly an amazing person. And I can see that. And honestly, she's been a lighthouse to me in the past. She's very connected in a way, and she's, you know, intelligent and beautiful and just has a lot of good insights. But she's been a huge like villainous source in my life, and maybe I'll get into that in just a second. But just remember that everyone no matter how good, no matter how bad, is both the lighthouse and the villain. And I'm not saying everyone is like good people are evil or something like that. You know what I'm saying? But like we both have that. It just depends on the shadow or the light that you've been put in by their perspective. Whew. Okay, so the villain. So what is the villain? Is the person that's, messing everything up. Like I said, they are like bringing hurt to people. They're throwing a wrench in the plans. Like they're not, it doesn't look like they're bringing anything good. They make you feel contractive at first, right? It's not this loving, expansive warmth that the lighthouse is bringing. It's this contractive fear, trigger, doubt, pain, all these things, right? That's what the villain brings. So I'm going to go back to, Dynasty. I've been the villain in her life many times. Many times. She's my sister. She's my younger sister. We've had a lot of ups and downs. She's my best friend as well. Specifically in the area of music, since we were talking about that, when Dynasty, there's been a lot of songs that she's written or things like she's come up with that I didn't personally resonate with. And I understand that Dynasty is talented, but like she knows this. I haven't resonated with everything that she's written or put out there, we don't have the same style of music, and like we learned the same way, but we're just different people. So we came at it from a different way. So like I'm very like control freak sometimes, and like I get very stuck in my head at times of like this is the way that things are and the way that they're supposed to be. And so Dynasty is very much a rule breaker. And so like that was hard for me. She's been an expander for me, but I was the villain because it was like she'd show me a song and I would be like, not wanting to say like, oh, this isn't my favorite, And like that hurt her so much because she, especially when she was younger, really looked up to me because like I was already like writing the songs and playing and all these things. And she just wanted that too. And she wanted that approval from me, and I couldn't give it to her because I was being authentic and true to myself, which is so important to me. And like I'll get more into that later about like how that's like, yeah, anyways. But I believe that I was an expander for her in my villainous state. Me not supporting her to the fullest with her music and like being honest when I didn't love what she did with a song or something. Because I can't really lie very easily. If you've met me, you know this. I try and you just know. So there's really no point in me lying. I wasn't trying to hurt Dynasty's feelings, but I did. And I was the villain in her story. But like because I was the villain in her story and it helped her expand in her music. It helped her to try new chords. It helped her to just like be more like consistent in a strumming or a melody or something like that. It helped her to, I don't know, just like look at different avenues and stuff. And it also helped her to not give an F what I think to an extent. Like if she likes something and I don't, like she put her heart and soul into creating a song and I don't like it, that doesn't effing matter. I can't decide if I want to swear on this podcast or not, so we'll figure it out. I probably will, but not at this exact second. But like that criticism, like it helped her to own her shit. I'm going to swear. Okay. It helped her to own her shit. It helped her to own her sound, her music, what she wanted to release and put out there. Like, yes, she has grown in her music and she's improved so much, but at the same time, it's like, oh, you don't like this? Well, that's okay, because I do. And like, if people were just giving her positive feedback, all and all and all and all and over and over and over, then the first time that she hears that negative, it's, first of all, she's not going to grow very much. And second of all, the first time that she does get that negative feedback, maybe from someone she doesn't have a relationship with, it's going to slam, right? But because she knew, loved, and trusted me, and I got to be the villain, me first, I got to be the villain in her story. She got to be mad at me and be hurt by me, someone that she could actually talk to about it instead of some rando. You know what I mean? It actually helped expand her. Okay, and I just want to say this. I'm not saying that I'm always in the right, because I'm not. I can be really outspoken and rude. And like I have a lot of shadow parts, as you would say, right? But I am coming to this space where I want to own my choices, whether or not I am like a lighthouse or a villain in someone's story. I'm an expander. And honestly, it's the same for like other people with me. Like the girl I brought up a little bit ago that has been like a villain in my story lately. She was such a lighthouse for me. Before we spent a lot of time together, when I was just seeing her on social media, such an expander. Like it almost felt like she was like answering questions that I'd never spoken and untangling my thoughts into. I don't know if you guys have seen that photo of like when a therapist like untangles your thoughts. It's like on the left side, it's like a big jumble messed up like yarn ball or something, and then like she's just like slowly pulling out the string, and like I don't know if she's crocheting it, but that's the picture that I'm getting now. So it's like they make it make sense. Make it make sense. And like that's what it felt like this like beautiful woman was doing. And I felt like her student, and I appreciated her so much. I still do. I still have love and appreciation for this person. But and she expanded me. She was my lighthouse, right? And like that can happen sometimes too, when like we kind of put people like up on a pedestal when we don't know them, and then it's honestly gives them, it's not really fair for them, you know, because they're just a human too. It's like they didn't ask us to put them on the pedestal, like we just did it. And so like sometimes it can be hard to like integrate that into friendship. But you know, recently this person and I have been, you know, in the same circles, and she has like played the villain in my life. Not that she's a bad person, because she's an amazing person, but you know, and I've been the villain for her probably. But I can only speak for myself, even though I did say I was the villain in the Lighthouse for Dynasty, but we've kind of talked about it. But yeah, for this girl, she hurt me, you know, a lot, and she really triggered me, honestly. Actually, it was the day that I was supposed to start recording this podcast. Like I got my intro down, but then she sent me this really long message before I started doing any episodes, and it triggered me so intensely. She didn't say this, but I felt really dumb. Like I think she was trying to make me feel good, but it didn't. I don't know what she was trying to do. It felt very condescending. I don't know. I felt very triggered. I felt very dumb. And like not being smart has been a big trigger that I haven't really shined the light on, but it has come up. I just kind of brush it under. I'm like, oh, this isn't, I don't know. I feel like that's not one that people talk about a whole lot. So I was like, you know, whatever. But it forced me to look at it. And same with what I said about Dynasty, about like me being the villain, like forced her to be like, this is mine and I love it, and like use her voice. It was the same, because it was like, when I felt dumb, when I felt triggered in that way, I was like, why would I ever think I could do a podcast? I'm dumb. No one cares. No one's going to listen to what I have to say. And like, I don't have anything to say because I'm dumb. I'm not connected. I'm not in alignment, like all these things. And it was like, I had to really look at that trigger and give it space to give my fear space to breathe, look it in the freaking eyes for that to like be released from me. And now I can come here. This is the like first episode that I'm fully recording, and I can like feel confident that, hey, like no matter what this person thinks of me, I know who I am and what I have to offer. And she gave me that gift, because now it's like, it doesn't, like whoever else comes up to me, and even if somebody says, hey, you don't have anything important to say, you're dumb, you're blah, blah, blah. It's like, I dealt with that trigger because of my wonderful like person that was playing the villain for me, and like gratitude towards that woman. Like honestly. So it's like, yeah, I mean, we just have to be okay with whatever role people like paint us as. And I think I said something about this earlier about staying connected. That's the thing. If you're doing what's right for you and you genuinely feel peace in your spirit and you feel connected to God, source, whatever, you're doing the right thing for you, right? Even if later on you're like, maybe that wasn't, but like if you are truly following your inner voice, it does not matter if you burn a bridge or if it causes a whole group of people to love you and pedestal you, which will eventually lead to a downfall in some way of like, oh, you thought I was something I wasn't. But like, you have no control over what people paint you as. You can be the most lighthouse person, good vibes, love, support, peace, harmony, and someone can paint you as a villain. You can literally be giving out love and literally look at any celebrity's comments when they're posting something nice. It's insane. Like, you can be spreading love and still be painted as a villain. Now, on the other hand, you can be doing something extremely villainous or, you can literally be doing something bad. Maybe you're not connected to yourself in this moment. And people are like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. Okay, example. Let's say like you're just like throwing back shots of like booze because you had a really bad day or something. Like, that is villainous to your body. But like, all the people at the bar are loving you for it because it's entertaining for them, right? So it's like, it's a villainous act to your body and to your spirit and to yourself, but like you're being painted as like this fun, loving person, the lighthouse, right? So all I'm saying is be true to yourself, be connected to God, be connected to your inner voice, follow your peace. Follow your peace, what feels like it is true. Because you're not going to feel absolute peace inside of your spirit for something that you're not supposed to be doing. So again, we can't control how people paint us. We can only control our choice of staying connected and acting out of that place. So much love to you all. Thank you for allowing me to speak and allowing me to be both the lighthouse and the villain. And I hope that you feel more connected to yourself and you feel more okay and more trusting and believing of your own choices in whatever way that those have played out. Something that the rapper Russ said in one of his new songs is, which I'm probably going to quote this a lot because it's so good, but it was something like, every bridge I've burnt has lit the way. Don't be afraid to burn a bridge, because if you feel peace about it, it maybe wasn't supposed to be built there anymore anyways. So trust yourself, stay connected, and have an amazing day. Mwah. Much love to you all.